Good morning. Welcome to the garden. I'm glad you have chosen to be here with us on this beautiful but chilly November morning. This is the day when we observe All Saints' Day here, which is the time in the church when we honor the lives of loved ones who have died. It really officially is November 1st, but we always observe it here on the Sunday closest to November 1st, and today it happens to be the 2nd. And I understand, I'm aware that it can be a very uncomfortable time for some because dealing with death isn't something most of us do a lot of the times, and it can be awkward and we don't know what to say, we don't know what to do, and so kind of hang in there with us, if you will, please. And I know there are some for whom it's very emotional, and that's okay. Because it is emotional when we have loved and no longer have that person present with us. So today I'm going to talk about why it's important for us to really come to terms with death, that there are ways in which it enhances the living. But first, let's look at the Bible passage we have for today. Now, this is not a passage that's ever recommended for All Saints' Day. But then what do you expect of McCoy? I choose something different than that. But I just really liked what the Apostle Paul had to say as he shared his thoughts and feelings with the people in the church of Corinth. And I thought it was worthy of our consideration. This is how it reads. And why do you think I keep risking my neck in this dangerous work? I look death in the face practically every day I live. Do you think I'd do this if I wasn't convinced of your resurrection and mine as guaranteed by the resurrected Messiah, Jesus? Now, the reality was Paul really did look death in the face every day because he was under a great deal of danger and threat, because he preached such radical kinds of things and he taught such radical notions. And he was thrown in prison more than once, probably more than most of us have been inside a prison. And so he really had cause to be concerned about his life and whether or not it would end before he really wanted it to end. But he says he's not really afraid because of the resurrection of Jesus. What he meant by that, I think, is that he understood, he was convinced that Jesus died on a cross, was buried in a tomb, and then was experienced as once again very real. And he believed that that same thing was true for him and for us as well. Now, the line that I really like most out of that passage, our version is from the Message, is the one that says, I look death in the face practically every day I live. You see, what that says to me is that Paul was confronting the reality of the possibility of death every single day. You know, as someone said, no one gets out of here alive. And that's really true. We are all mortal. We will all die at some point in time. And so it's important, I think, that we come to terms with that because it isn't something that most of us talk a lot about or deal with a lot. And it's difficult things, and it's a difficult thing, particularly with children. And so I want to share with you some experiences I had really before I was ready to have them, I think, but some situations that happened when our daughter was young. When she was about 3 years old, she and I were in the grocery store one day, and we ran into a woman who was a former neighbor whose daughter had died in an accident 2 or 3 months before, but I hadn't seen her since this had occurred. And she and I started talking, and so here sits Erin in the grocery cart looking from one to the other of us as we're having this conversation, and she was crying, I was crying, and we hugged one another, and as she got ready to leave, she said something to me that I've never forgotten. She said, she looked at Erin and said, hug her every chance you get. You never know when it will be the last. Well, that isn't the end of the story, because you know how 3-year-olds are. They have a voice that carries everywhere and an inquisitive mind. And so all through the grocery store, she kept asking me these questions like, who was that lady? What happened? What happened to her daughter? Where's her daughter now? And I wasn't really quite ready to answer all those questions, but I did the best I could with what I was able to do at that time. But I'll tell you what, I got some really strange looks from some of the other shoppers in that store, wondering what on the earth I was doing, having that kind of conversation with this small child. But I guess I just felt it was important to be honest. And in retrospect, I'm kind of glad it turned out the way it did, because when she was 5, our next door neighbor, who was Austrian, who loved Erin, who would always have her come over to play and had treats for her all the time, died rather unexpectedly. And so we had to have the conversation again. And then when she was 8, a teenager who had babysat for her a number of times was killed in an automobile accident. And again, we had to have that conversation. And it really brought her at a young age to face some of the realities of life, and at least in the way a child's mind can understand it. And I think it's equally important, and maybe more important for us who are adults, to be able to come to that reality of death as a part of all of our lives. It's something we will all face. Both the loss of loved ones and our own mortality will come to be at some point in time. Well, some of you may have seen an article that was in the Star probably a couple months now. It was written by a woman named Elaine Vauci, who was facilitating a grief group for widows and widowers who had lost spouses. And she is a member of the Association for Death Education and Counseling. And the headline of this particular article was entitled, "Why I Want to Talk About Death." And she spends the time talking about what she thinks the benefits are from our really having an open conversation about the realities of death that we all will eventually face. And you may have also heard an interview that was on Fresh Air where Terry Gross interviewed a funeral director whose name was Caitlin Doherty, who's written a book about this whole process of death and dying that's called When Smoke Gets in Your Eyes is the name of it, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. And she was asked why on earth she'd written a book about this particular topic. And she responded this way: "My philosophy is honesty. I think that we've been so hidden from death in this culture for such a long time that it's very refreshing and liberating to talk about death in an open, honest manner." She said her hope was that she would help educate people. Well, I think she's right. Death is hidden from us most of the time because it's usually behind the walls of a hospital or the doors of a nursing home, and that's not the way it's always been in our society. There was a time where everything around the death of a family member took place in the home. The wake and the whole dying, the wake process, and all the visitation, all of that took place there before funeral homes ever existed. But as we know, that's not the case anymore, and it's kind of scooted off to the side and out of our viewpoint. And yet, death is inevitable for every single one of us. That's what the end eventually will be for us. And so it's important, Elaine Vauci thinks, for us to really come to terms about that and to begin to talk about it with other people. And the point she makes is that we prepare for and celebrate all kinds of life events: the birth of a child, a graduation, a wedding. But the one that we don't talk about as much and don't really prepare for as much is the ultimate reality of life, which is death. And she believes that we should do that, especially with those people who are closest to us. Because when we can have that conversation, it brings a sacred quality to the relationship and deepens our connection with one another in a way that nothing else can. And so that's part of the reason she believes it's important for us to be able to have those conversations with the people we love and who love us as much as we possibly can. She acknowledges that death is a natural part of life. It's part of that cycle, that circle of life that happens. And that she doesn't actually say this, but I remember a woman who was in a class I taught over at St. Luke's a lot of years ago now, who seemed to believe that death was a lot like birth. Now, when she said that in this class, it was a new thought for me. I hadn't occurred to me, but I remember that she went on to say she was firmly convinced that when she died, she'd go swooshing down a tunnel and come into the light of God's love, very similar to the way babies are born. You know, she died 3 or 4 years after that, and I've always wondered if that was really true. I wish she could come back and tell me, but I have a hunch that it really is that way. It really does work that way. So one of the reasons to have those conversations and to come face to face with the reality of death is that it does heighten our relationships. It, in fact, gives it a sacredness to it, the whole thing. There's another reason that Elaine Vauci talks about, and it's because of something her father used to say, which was this: give your bouquets now, don't wait for the funeral. In other words, let's tell the people we love them right now. Don't wait until tomorrow or next week or next month, because we never know when the last time will be. And so it's always important to not let a day go by without telling those people we care about how much they mean to us and how valuable they are in our lives. And then in continuing that same thought, one of the last reason, and probably the most important reason Elaine Volci seems to think we need to have these conversations with one another, is because they remind us of how precious life is. This moment is the only moment like this we'll ever have. This moment will be gone, and it will never be repeated again, never like this. And we begin to realize just how precious life is. And that causes us to be more in the moment and not to always be thinking about the past or in the future, but really take in each moment and live as fully as we possibly can. You know, there's a subtitle to Elaine Volci's article that said this: acceptance teaches us to live well. And I really think that's true. Accepting the reality of death will help us live better lives. Well, that's part of what she wants us to understand, and it's part of what we deal with, both in coming to terms with our own death and with the death of people we love. And whenever we experience that kind of thing, we grieve. Grief is a normal, healthy process when a loved one dies. Grief is different for every person, even if we're grieving the death of the same person. That's because every one of us is unique. Every relationship is unique. And so our relationship with the person who's died is going to be our relationship and no one else's. There is no set timetable for how long we grieve. Every person is different about that. And there's no right or wrong way. The reality is, when we live and love and lose, we grieve. Grief is okay. It is normal. It is healthy. And we need to allow ourselves to give ourselves permission to grieve in whatever way is our way to grieve. You know, there are a lot of folks who have a lot to say about the death of a loved one or about facing our own death. And one of those was Anne Lamott. And this is what she had to say. You will lose someone you can't live without, and your heart will be badly broken. And the bad news is that you never completely get over the loss of your beloved. But this is also good news. They live forever in your broken heart that doesn't seal back up, and you come through. It's like having a broken leg that never heals perfectly, that still hurts when the weather gets cold. But you learn to dance with the limp. And so it is.